How's it going, guys? This is House Cat MMA, and right now I'm going to be going over what happened at UFC Fight Night. Dan Hooker versus Armin Tsarukyan. But before I get into all that, if you would take about a second to like and subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. Now, first fight of the night was Denzel Freeman versus Merrick Boudreaux. Boudreaux had difficulty dealing with Freeman's stand-up. That is one thing that was happening, but I think another thing was I think Boudreaux was having some UFC debut jitters because it was obvious that he needed to get Freeman down, and that's how he's going to win the fight. But he didn't really ever go for it. He went for it at one point, and he did get Freeman down, but Freeman popped right back up. Good on Freeman getting the unanimous decision win. Now we got Narulo Aliyev versus Shaquemi Rock. Narulo was just straight up and down, a better fighter than Shaquemi Rock. Whenever he felt like hitting him, he did. Whenever he felt like pushing him up against the fence, he did. Shaquemi was able to defend the takedown for a little while, but Narulo ended up getting him down at certain points in the fight. Shaquemi did get Narulo down at one point in the third round and mounted him at one point. But Aliyev just hopped right back up, and it was not an issue. Now we got Ismail Naurdiev versus Ryan Loder. First off, not for nothing, Ismail Naurdiev looks a whole lot like the singer-songwriter by the name of Doobie. When I came to that conclusion, I immediately was a fan. And he just walked right in there and knocked Ryan Loder out with a fucking overhand right. And it was just a beautiful thing. I was kind of rooting for Loder at first. I hate to see Ultimate Fighter winner win the show and then rattle off 2 straight losses by knockout, but happens. Interested to see if Naurdiev goes back down to 170 or if he stays at 185. Now, of course, we got Alexandre Topuria versus Beksa Almakhan. Almakhan, he socked Topuria right in the face a couple of times. But once Topuria got his range down and everything, he kind of, in the second and third round, he did whatever he felt like doing to Almakhan. And honestly, I don't think it's possible to be a much bigger 135er than Topuria is. Like, he must walk around at 170. Maybe not 170, 165. So now we got Abdul Rahman Yakiev versus Rafael Sikoria. I mean, Abdul kicked Rafael right in the goddamn noggin and secured a rear naked choke. I hate to see a man go 0-4 in the UFC, but I mean, that happens. I mean, I'd probably go 0-4 in the UFC. I mean, maybe 1-3, who knows. Then you got Asu Almabeya versus Alex Perez. Asu and Alex, they went back and forth in the first round. Almabeya was able to get Perez down briefly, and once the second round started, Perez then started opening up a can of whoop-ass on Almabeyev, got him down, punched him in the noggin, but come third round, Almabeyev just, it was actually kind of comical, like, Almabeyev just kind of like, he just hopped up, it's like, motherfucker, and got the guillotine, and I scared my cat with that. But yeah, I mean, good on Almabeyev. Then now we got Nick Dalby versus Sagid Izagakmayev. And I thought it'd be a good change of pace to do this outside, but what time is it? 2:14 in the morning? Yeah, it's too early. It's too early to be doing this because people are still out and about, and it's fucking Saturday night. Well, Sunday morning. But yeah, Dalby versus Izagakmayev. They went back and forth in the clinch a lot. Both fighters got the other fighter down at certain points. Very close grappling contest, pretty much. But Dalby just had a little bit more control. Dalby's strong. I mean, we've been known that, but Dalby's fucking strong. 41 years old. Shows no signs of slowing down. He will, but right now at 41, he does not show any signs. He fights the same way he did when he was 30, when he fought Darren Till. But good on Dalby. Super proud of him. I'm a Dalby maniac. Now we got Luke Riley versus Bogdan Grad. Bogdan Grad was kind of, sort of slinging Riley around in the first round, and was socking him too, tagging him. But Riley just kind of went in there in that second round and just fucking thrashed Bogdan and knocked him out pretty proper. I want to say it was 30 seconds into the second round. It looked like he was on his way to a TKO victory, and then he got him with one punch, and it just flatlined Bogdan. Now we got Kyoji Horiguchi versus Tager Ulanbekov. And this fight kind of went how I expected, but I didn't think it was going to be a straight-up ass-whooping. Kyoji whooping Tager's ass. He was outmaneuvering him. Tager did get Kyoji down at one point in the first round, just due to just being tall and being kind of strong. But then Kyoji kind of showed Tager what a grown man feels like. Basically pushed him down at one point. Like, it was a punch, but it was like, you could tell the punch didn't daze him. It was just the impact, and it was kind of like a push punch, and Tager kind of, fuck. But that was largely because Kyoji was kicking the piss out of Tager's legs, and Tager just had enough. But Kyoji was able to secure a rear naked choke victory in the third round. Good on Kyoji. Now we got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Shamil Gaziev. And Gaziev is a strong guy and a lot to deal with amongst the unranked guys in the UFC. But what gave him the bright idea to go in there to swinging wild at Acosta? I mean, we know Acosta will knock the piss out of you, and that's what he did. Gaziev was trying to fucking recreate Diego Sanchez versus Clay Guida, it seemed, and Acosta was kind of like, come on, what are you doing? And he put him away in the first round. Now we got Miktabek Orlbai versus Jack Hermanson. They were going back and forth on the feet a little bit. Hermanson was doing well. The slight upper hand went to Miktabek the whole time. But ultimately Miktabek kind of flatlined Hermanson, and I was a little bit sad, but I also expected it. Now we got Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Minifield. I've been known Oezdemir was a big cat, but I didn't think he was that big. Like, I've been watching him since 2017, but I just never saw him as giant as he looked on the television set earlier. And he basically went at Alonzo like Alonzo was messing with his girl, but the girl was legitimately dating Volkan, but it wasn't too serious, and she was just fucking around with Alonzo, and Volkan heard about it, and he got his feelings hurt and whipped his ass. That's what that was like. I think I said that about some other fight a few weeks ago amongst a couple of gals. Then we got Ian Machado Gary versus Bahal Muhammad. It's a tale old as time. Every time Ian Machado Gary fights an elite guy, the elite guy does well, is able to tag him a couple of times on the feet, but not enough. Gary always tags the other guy a little more, And then the other guy wants to get Machado Gary down, and Machado Gary's like, I am the size of a big middleweight, and I somehow get down to 170. You're not doing this right now. And then he wins the decision. I mean, really, he just did that against Bahal just now, and he had a really close fight that was very similar against Rachmanov. But that's just how it goes. He's so big. The fact that he makes 170 means that Bo Nickel has no reason fighting at 185. But yeah, Ian Machado Gary got the unanimous decision win. He's gonna fight Islam next, most likely, and I think Islam will win, but it's gonna be a cool test for Islam. Like, I don't think Islam has ever fought a man that was 6'3". Well, not professionally, definitely not. Maybe out in the streets somewhere, but I'm interested to see how Islam deals with that frame, because that frame is crazy. Like, how are you that tall and that somewhat? Not, and he's on the lanky side, but he's thick lanky. I just don't. I bet you he weighs 213 sometimes. But that's gonna be a cool fight. Islam versus Machado Gary. Now we got Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. I was very wrong about a lot of these fights, but I couldn't have been more wrong about Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. Like, it was the damnedest thing. Like, Dan walked in there and he was trying to get some cool shit off on the feet, and Arman was like, yeah, very cool. Let me punch you right in the fucking face. And at one point they kind of were getting after it, and Dan Hooker tried to take Arman Tsarukyan's back, and Arman Tsarukyan's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then they were on the ground, and Hooker went for a guillotine, solid attempt, but once again Arman's like, fuck you, and then he wallowed him for the whole of the first round, and then much of the same in the second round, and he was able to catch Arman Tsarukyan. Well, Arman Tsarukyan was able to catch Dan Hooker with an arm triangle. So, yeah, I had high hopes for Dan Hooker on that one, but it just didn't go the way I thought it was gonna. I do this a lot. I get really high on guys, and I hype them up. Dan Hooker's one of them, and I make these narratives in my head that they're the best thing since fucking Fedor in 2007, and they're good, but they're not 2007 Fedor. They're not 1988 Tyson, and I make them out like they are, but sometimes they're just not. But that's pretty much it. Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria will be a good one. After what I saw just now, I don't think you can give Paddy Pimblett to Ilia Topuria. Have Ilia Topuria fight Arman Tsarukyan, and then what you want to do after that is put that as a main event, and then you put a co-main together, and that's Justin Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, and then Paddy the Baddy Pimblett is going to beat another man in his late 30s, and then he's going to fight the winner of Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria, and if he wins that, I'll be sold. That's what should happen. But this is House Cat MMA, and that's what happened tonight. Well, really this afternoon, because they're fighting in the Middle East. But I will catch y'all tomorrow.